special. Uh, I am Adam, otherwise known as Sweet44722, and with me today is James, otherwise known as James Paul McCartney. Or Paul
Yeah,
McCartney.
Paul McCartney, I guess you could just say. So, yeah, you want to just jump right into it, or?
Yeah, let's start with a qualifying offer since that happened most recently.
Yep.
Um, I guess you could say that, starting out, we qualified Pitlick, Pakarinen, and Musil, I believe. Um,
Osterley got re-signed.
who, sorry?
Jordan Osterley.
That's right,
Osterley.
Australia. Other than that, so that means Gazdic, and the major names that are not being qualified is Gazdic and Clendenning.
hmm
So, do you agree with the idea of moving away from them, or do you think they should have been re-signed? Clendenning being a
Uh,
right-handed defenseman.
no, I think I pretty much agree with them entirely, to be totally honest with you. I mean, I look at the names that weren't qualified, and it's like you said, there's Gazdic, who was obsolete the second that Cassian came into the organization. So I mean, who else wasn't qualified? You said Clendenning wasn't qualified. Cale Kessie,
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Lidstrom.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cale Kessie is going to haunt my dreams because of the Tobias Reader trade for. Yeah,
Oh.
that sucks. But I mean, you can't go you can't go chasing waterfalls. Like what's done is done, and cut them loose. And it was the right call for sure.
Was that a Tambo trade?
I'm almost positive it
I
was.
think it must have been around that time frame, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
So
Tobias Reed, he was traded to Arizona, and he's not a star, but he's an NHL player. So,
he dominates the Oilers every game we play against him.
hmm
Yeah, no, I don't think Cassian or Clendenning would have helped. Maybe you could have kept Clendenning as like a 7 or 8 defenseman, but we already have Gryba, who's going to be probably our seventh defenseman, or maybe six. Like, he was good enough last season; he could probably play six.
yeah,
Um, wasn't it was He was basically a better passing but slower Jolts. Didn't
mm,
really serve a purpose to the team other than just fill up a roster spot towards the end of the season with injuries.
yeah. No, I
And
totally agree.
yeah, it's like Cracknell. It's like we can use them. Are we going to use them? Probably not.
Probably not. Once
Uh,
the team actually gets going, does he crack the top six?
no,
No.
not even close. No, and with Cassian or not with sorry with Cassian coming in, like you said, it kind of pushed Gazdik's roll out of the way. I mean, Cassian didn't even fight that much, but we still have Nurse, we still have Hendricks, we still have even Pakarinen will he'll get rough and dirty a little bit, and then
hmm
the Testu's not unknown to scrap every once in a while. It's not really the game anymore. We don't need a goon.
Yeah. Like with even with players that did get qualified, like Tyler Pitlick. I mean, this has got to be his last chance.
Oh yeah, no, the
I
guy's made a
can't.
class. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't see him. Like he's got to be an impact AHL player or sticking in the NHL, or he'll just be done.
the annoying thing to me is that he has the skill to play in the NHL. Is he's shown that he can play at the level, he can skate at the level, he can.
Yeah.
You think the game at that level, it's just every time he gets going, he gets injured, like
Yeah.
every single
Exactly.
time. So
So,
you know,
uh,
this is almost a can you survive a season contract as much as anything else, I think.
hmm yeah,
And
I guess.
and
Well,
then Australia,
yeah, I like Australia. I don't think he spend time with the Oilers last year.
yeah, he did. He
But
played the last half of the last about third of the season. Played with
yeah,
Davidson for a while,
20 games, 19 games.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was pretty good, but I mean, I think he was kind of thrust in there out of a sense of necessity as opposed to actually being needed. But
Yeah,
he was good. He kept his oar in the water, kept his head above water. So we'll see how it goes. And I think it's another show me contract, really.
I mean, that's what it is, right? I mean, he's a smaller defenseman, but he's quick thinking, skating, can pass really well.
Yeah,
Doesn't exactly have a cannon, but you know,
I would probably have him on the team above Reinhardt at this point. So
yeah, I think I would too. Reinhardt really hasn't shown all that much more than Australia. I think they could battle it out for a spot. I don't know if I'd automatically give it to him, but
yeah,
let them go at it.
legitimate consideration for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Do you want to move
Yeah,
on to
so you
the
just want to
draft?
transition to the draft itself. I mean,
Yeah, let's start with it.
um, Oilers or NHL?
Let's start with the NHL because I feel like we'll talk for the Oilers for a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, there were some not insignificant, but some interesting trades that went down. So the Habs traded Eller to Washington, and they got Andrew Shaw from Chicago. Datsuk got shipped off to Arizona, which is kind of funny. And Yandel, I think, was traded. It was Florida, right?
Traded his rights to Florida
Right,
and
and
then
then
he ended up signing a 7 year, $7 million contract, something like that.
7 per or six
Yeah,
per.
seven
Yeah,
per. I'm pretty sure it was 7 by 7,
yeah.
which
So, what
is.
do you think of those trades? Like, what catches
Um,
your eye?
I mean, the Yandel contract is just ginormous. Like,
Uh,
he's. I get that he's um, he's what 29, so that contract takes him to 36. He's gonna be useless the last 2 years of his contract.
Yeah,
But
he's definitely headed downhill
the,
quick.
the the big thing about that contract is that it's an MNC all the way through until the last year when it's a modified NTC. And that's I think that's the part that's gonna kill him. They're gonna end up buying him out. So that one to me, the trade makes sense for Florida because they have to
Yeah,
replace Ryan Campbell, but
yeah.
the signing, that's a lot of money considering they have to sign some big boys in the next couple of years. Like Ekblad's gonna need a payout. Barkov's gonna need a payout. They're still dealing with Luongo's contract, their Yager's contract. Uh, they're just, you know, they're gonna be loaded down the line in a few years here. They have Kraus, that's gonna need to pay it. So,
I just checked the stream. It says call is in a separate window.
I
Show here.
don't understand that. Um, hmm. Colin is in a separate window. I don't know what that means. All right, try
Oh,
this.
there it goes. Yep. Now there it goes.
Wait, it was working?
Yeah, it's working now.
Oh well, I just deleted this. Okay, well,
All right. So the Eller trade. What do you think?
I don't want to say it's inconsequential, but it's I wouldn't exactly call it huge.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it huge either. He was a big part of Montreal's fan base for a long time, for whatever reason. I mean, it just seemed like everyone from Montreal loved him.
Hmm.
But yeah, kind of inconsequential, and bringing in Andrew Shaw more or less replaces him right away. So
But the price was a little crazy. 2 seconds.
2 seconds for Andrew Shaw. Yeah, I don't know, man. And then I think Chicago went and drafted DeBrincat with one of those second rounds, which is like, man,
I was hoping you were they should pick
DeBrincat's
him,
like
but
5'6" or something, but man, he scores a lot of goals.
and you know what? There's who was it? Arizona GM Cheniak.
Chaka, I think.
Cheka
Yeah.
has it. He picked 2 or 3 small players, like 5'11", 5'7" players, but that's where
Yeah.
the league's moving towards right now, right?
Oh,
Like
for
I don't know.
sure.
That's I mean it's kind of a weird transition between you still need big guys to win, but you need big guys with really good skill or small guys that can outplay everybody.
Yeah. Well, this first rounder there, the seventh overall, Clayton Keller, 5'10", 168 pounds. Like, I don't even think he's that big. He's a pretty small
He's
dude.
probably smaller than that. Yeah. Is the
Yeah.
stream's looking okay now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So I can have a full screen is what I just figured out.
Okay.
Hopefully it recorded everything else before that.
Hopefully. So, yeah, Datsuk getting traded. That's kind of what
Well,
it is.
I was impressed with Holland, and I was equally impressed with Arizona being smart enough that they just take a It's essentially the Pronger thing again. Actually,
Yeah, again.
is the Pronger do they still have Pronger's contract, or was it only the 1 year?
No, I think they still have it.
I it's kind of
Arizona
bullshit.
Coyotes legend Chris Pronger still on the payroll.
It's kind of bullshit. Cap
Absolutely
circumvention.
shit. Yeah.
But it's I mean exploit it while you can, right? I
Yeah.
mean
Well,
that's yeah.
I'm sure that they're gonna. I don't know if they will ever close that loophole because it is bullshit. But I mean,
It's legitimate. They are trading the contract.
exactly.
If he were to come back and play, he'd be an Arizona Coyote.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Weird deal. So what do you make of those then?
Of all those trades in general, or
Well, I mean, I'll start with the deal for Campbell or not Campbell for Yandel with Florida.
well, Yandel's more or less Campbell's replacement, and he's going to be probably equally as not bad, but inconsequential for the last few years there. I mean, Campbell hasn't been bad, but I don't remember the last time I thought about Brian Campbell, to be honest with you.
Or
It seems like
the last time I did was in reading a piece about Ekblad because Ekblad was staying with them when he was first drafted.
okay.
Well,
Well,
that was Willie Mitchell. That wasn't even Campbell. That was Willie Mitchell. I'm sorry.
well, combine Ekblad, who's like already a number 2 for sure, pushing a number 1,
Yeah.
and Yandel, who's like a low end number 1. Like they have a good defensive core there for sure. I mean,
Nice.
Ekblad's going to be there for 15 years at least. So I don't know, man. They could have a good thing going there. Luongo's still kicking around. I kind of forgot about him for a while too. But
Well, he was amazing this year too. He had a good season.
yeah, he was good. He's like,
should have been an Vezina candidate higher than Quick for sure.
well, he's like 37 or something. He's still bringing it.
Really? Is that? I thought he was 35.
He was born in 79, so
Nope. Never mind. Old guy.
mm,
I don't know. It's just one of those. For me, the contract is. I get it. Like 7 years makes sense, but 7 million. I guess it's 7 million AAV, so it's probably higher up front, right?
yeah.
I don't know. It's just. Anyway, so let's move on to the actual picks. Do you think there's a specific team that won or lost more than another team?
It's too early to tell. I hate being asked that because it's like 3 days after the draft. But in the first round specifically, I'll just concentrate on that. I feel like Phoenix did really well. Clayton Keller, like I said, he's a magician with the puck. And then at number 16, they got Chychrun, who was projected as like a top 3 pick at the beginning of this season, and he got picked apart by scouts and analysts and this, that, and the other thing. I feel like the general consensus for him is like he'll play in the NHL, but he may already be like at his ceiling, which whatever it is, who really knows, whether that's a top 4 or top 6 defenseman, who knows, but he'll play, which how often is that really guaranteed?
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it's drafting a player, a defenseman in the top 30 picks. You would hope would eventually become at least some sort of an impact player on your team.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things. Like, do you think from right now it's hard to say, but do you think like Sergeyev and Levy may be more impact players than Chychrun, or is this a good gamble from the Coyotes where it may work out very well in their favor because they don't actually know the ceiling?
Yeah, I think it could work out for them pretty easily. I mean, Chychrun's still a great player, and I thought Vancouver may have been reaching a bit, going for Levy at number 5.
A little bit. He was projected like 12, I think.
Yeah, but who knows? Like, it's 3 days after the draft, right? I feel like Edmonton got away with one.
Oh, I mean,
Columbus's GM there, Kekalainen, he overthought it, in my opinion. Like, Pierre-Luc Dubois was like anywhere between 4 and 7. Like, the top 3 were set. You can
the last year and a half.
Yeah, you can dance around it and try to manipulate it or change it around however you want, but it was Matthews, Laine, Puljujarvi. It's been that way since the World Juniors. Like,
now, there's arguments saying that they drafted for position rather than for BPA.
the Oilers?
The Columbus Blue Jackets, because they traded Jack Johnson, so they need a centerman.
They traded Ryan Johansson.
Ryan Johansson. Sorry, they need a centerman, right?
Yeah.
So
I agree. I mean, to some extent, you definitely have to take that into consideration, but when you're drafting number 3 overall, you have holes everywhere. I mean, your team sucks. If you're drafting 3rd overall, like, come on. They weren't the third worst team though, because they did win the lottery. I think they were like eighth or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of holes, and I probably just would have gone with Puljujarvi. You know, if Pierre-Luc Dubois works out and he becomes that number one center, Kekalainen looks like a genius. But in 5 years from now, if Pierre-Luc Dubois is scoring at a .5 per game pace in the AHL, this is the sort of stuff that gets you fired and blacklisted from being a GM again.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be that bad though. Like he'll probably be.
I don't think he will be either. I think he's going to be a great player,
Yeah.
but
Now, do you think it's?
we thought Yakupov was going to be a great player too. So
Well, yeah, I'd be true. Now, is it? Could we be consider? Would you still consider it a kind of a failure as far as a pick go if he ends up kind of like Nugent-Hopkins, where he's at .7 points per game, but he's a reliable two-way player?
no, I don't think that's a failure at all. I think it is maybe a bit of a disappointment because Nuge is a terrific player. He's a great number two center, but he's not a true number one. Failure, no. Bit of a disappointment, maybe. Yeah.
Arguable.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, I love Nuge, but I mean, I was hoping for a little bit more out of him offensively, but you know, he's a great two-way center. You can put him on the ice in literally any situation, and you're gonna get good play. So that's how I feel about that. I don't know.
I know. I for one am glad she actually read the situation and didn't jump at trying to trade the pick or anything. But what was scary to me is there was a rumor floated around, I can't remember who it was from, that said that Chiarelli might have actually picked a defenseman at 4th overall had Puljujarvi not fallen to us.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw it, and I can't remember. I think it was on the sub, and someone had mentioned that I don't know what source it is, whether it's legit or not, but supposedly Chiarelli was going to pick Sergeyev at 4. So
I like Sergeyev's game. He's a great replacement for Markov over there in Montreal. He's got good size already, and offensively he's good. So
it wouldn't have been a terrible pick, but I think at 4, you're almost better off just almost trading down.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, they got him at 9, so
yeah. So.
You know, you could probably safely trade down to like 7 and get him. So. Yeah, it's it's so weird. You know, I've never been on the draft trade floor or anything like that. You know, on draft day, it just must be chaos all the time there. But it's so, I love it.
it's kind of like trade deadline where it's fun chaos.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. The thing that I liked this year was there was a lot of unexpected picks. Obviously, Dubois going before Puljujarvi, the entire rink reacted. Like, you hear it. Everyone's like, okay. And then Sergeyev getting picked at 5 when everyone thought that...
Levy got picked at 5.
Yeah, Levy, sorry. I'm tired. That's totally my excuse. So Levy got picked at 5 rather than any other, like Tkachuk or another player like that. And Tkachuk went to 6, and then they just... Keller was a bit of a surprise, and then...
what I found funny was the Oilers didn't have an Oilers jersey with Puljujarvi's name on it.
Yeah, every other team had their band on it, the player they wanted, or the name bar. And they were so surprised, they just gave him a blank jersey.
Oilers 16 on it for 2016 draft, and that's all they have for him. So,
I mean, I guess it's... Surely, he goes like, well, anything could happen. It's like, yeah, no, they had no clue was happening. They had no fucking clue who's dropping.
No, who knew? Not me.
Kekalainen?
Yeah, I guess.
Apparently.
I wonder when he made that decision.
It must have been last minute, because he did say that he had a trade crumble at the last minute.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he had something to move up or down from another team, and he just couldn't close it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy they didn't. Now, before we jump into the Oilers players beyond Puljujarvi, do you think it was an issue that Chiarelli didn't acquire a defenseman with the pick, or that he didn't acquire defenseman at all during the weekend via trade?
I think it is an issue, yeah, because it's something that still needs to be addressed. So as long as it needs to be addressed, it's an issue. But I think that he made the right move by taking Puljujarvi. It's a simple, no-brainer sort of move to me. So going forward here, there's free agency, and there's another opportunity there to maybe sign some free agents, make some more trades. Opportunities are dwindling at this point, though, so something needs to be addressed in July 1st to July 5th, somewhere in that time frame.
I'm definitely getting a little apprehensive towards our options. I mean, what do we have left? We have Demers, Shattenkirk. As far as like a free agent, there's pretty much it's Demers. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
For trading, it's like Shattenkirk, Fowler, which would help, but wouldn't really solve any of our problems. Same thing with Rodin or Dumba. Like,
I don't want either of them.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Dumba, but he's not going to solve any of our issues. If you're going for anyone there, it's Spurgeon, and they're not gonna trade Spurgeon. Same thing with the Ducks, where it's like, okay, well, I'll take Vatanen, or I'll take one Vatanen or one Lindholm, please, but they're not gonna trade them anymore. They just qualified Lindholm, and Vatanen isn't going anywhere. He just signed 2. Barry maybe, but Sakic seems set on not trading him now. So you're kind of quickly running out of options.
Yeah, it is getting a little bit more worrisome, but there's still an opportunity, and I trust. I don't know if I should say I trust, but I hope that Chiarelli doesn't make the same mistake that he did last summer when trading for Reinhart, because the second that trade was announced, man, I remember where I was. I was sitting at a coworker's house, and we were watching the draft, and I was like, that's a bad...
Yeah.
That's a bad...
big payment. Now, is it... I know Mark Pysyk would have been another player they could have looked at, but he was also traded to... Where did he go? He went from Buffalo to... He went
to Florida for Kulikov.
Was it Florida?
Yeah.
Florida's defense score got a lot better this weekend.
Yeah, Pysyk he's a good 3-4 guy. He's not flashy. I watched him a lot with the Oil Kings back in the day. He was actually the Oil Kings, this current modern day Oil Kings, first ever Bantam draft pick. And he was the first ever guy to be their captain. He was the first face, the first star. He was a first-round pick in 2010 for the Sabres, and he was on the World Junior teams in 2012. So, like, he's a good player. He's not a star, but, he's like a solid 3-4. He probably could have been inserted into the Edmonton Oilers lineup pretty goddamn easily.
So, God forbid we go into the season with the players we have now. Does that mean Nurse and Reinhart almost have to start the season in the NHL?
I hope that they don't, but I mean...
If we go on with this, it's... Or is it one of those things where we're getting to the point where we might almost have to pay a premium for a player that, like, for Shattenkirk, for example, where we might only get him for a year, but... it's kind of weighing...
You can't do it.
I know, yeah. I wouldn't do it either, but it's one of those things where it's like...
It's painful, but I mean, I would rather go with this decor again than pay out the nose for 1 year of Shattenkirk. And I don't know Shattenkirk, but I don't think he would re-sign here. I don't think he would.
Even with what Tom said the other day, where players are starting to like it more with McDavid and now Puljujarvi likely, and Drysdale and Hall and the new rink. I don't know. It might be just one of those things where he does not want to play Edmonton.
Why would he not go to free agency?
Yeah, exactly. Why would he not? We could get 7.5, 8 in free agency if he wanted to.
Exactly. So why would you not? How many times do you have the opportunity to do that? Go get your $7 million
end of
contract.
Year, end of career payout.
Exactly. So by the time Shattenkirk is done with that contract, he'll be 35, and then he's on 1- and 2-year deals for the rest of his career. So
I don't know. It's almost like Shattenkirk's become a player that almost has to sign before he's dealt for us to be even worth our time. Like for even to be worth our time, he has to be signed and be like as a sign and deal, not a deal and sign.
Yeah, like he's got to be signed to an extension. I don't know how long, but like 3 or 4 years.
Now, does it kind of with the Talbot situation last year, where he was a year from UFA and then signed for 3 years, is that a comparable situation? Do you think? Like, where is it? We can say, okay, well, Talbot, we weren't sure if he was going to stay, and we paid, decently for him. It wasn't nothing massive, but he ended up signing anyway. Is it something that we could use as maybe like, oh well, maybe Shattenkirk will sign here, or is it a different situation?
I feel like Talbot. Well, it is and it isn't. I don't know. I feel like Talbot was more or less given the number one role. Like Nilsson gave him competition for a while, but I feel like management had it in their minds that Talbot was the number one, and they waited for him to be the number one. And I feel like the same thing would happen with Shattenkirk, but I don't know. I just don't feel the same confidence that Shattenkirk would re-sign. And I wasn't even confident that Talbot would sign, to be honest with you. Just playing behind that blue line, like, that must be very frustrating on a nightly basis. But I think it was pretty evident that Talbot was ready to be a number one. And so if you want to be paid like a number one, you got to play a number one's number of games. So
I think the big thing for Talbot was that this was his. I think with goalies, is often you have to prove you're worthy of a starting job before you get a big contract. And Talbot hadn't had a chance to prove he was worthy of one. He had proven that he was a very solid backup, and that he had a chance to start as a starter. But he could have gone to UFA. But I think the other thing is an oversaturation of goaltenders at this point. Especially if he had gone this year, would have been still Reimer, Bernie would have been traded, Anderson was just traded. Like, there was a glut of goaltenders, and like Fleury's going, Bishop's going. There's a glut of goaltenders that are looking for new starting jobs, maybe getting new starting jobs. He might have been SOL if he'd gone for UFA.
Yeah, lots of great goaltenders out there, and you get them for what I think for cheap in my mind when it comes to trades. Like, the Leafs got Anderson for the. Like, what pick was that? 30th overall pick. It was the Pittsburgh pick originally. So 30th overall, they got Frederik Andersen. And in my mind, Anderson's a pretty good goalie. I don't know.
Ruin says to check Chad, by the way.
Yeah, I did. There's nothing.
So, well, do you think, so veering off a little bit here, there was rumor. There's obviously the Stars were looking for a new goaltender, but they're they're currently paying Niemi and Lettinen a total of $10 million. Do you think they kind of dug themselves into a hole with that? Like, because nobody's going to take those contracts.
Yeah, isn't it like 3 years left on each deal or 2?
I think it's 2 on one, maybe 3 on the other. Something like that.
Yeah.
In the same year, but.
Yeah, no, I don't see how you can get out from those contracts. Neither of those goalies are spring chickens anymore either. I think they're both at least 32 or 33.
I just gotta say, I totally called Niemi going downhill again. I know a lot of people did, but I'm so glad we didn't take a chance on him. Oh, that would have been frightening. His play this season, despite the fact he had like a 9.02 or something like that, like a terrible save on a team that scored at a ridiculous rate. Now the defense again wasn't amazing, but
no, he's lucky he had that offense to bail him out.
Yeah,
I don't know what they do with him or Lettinen for that matter. I mean, they're both like 1A and 1B type of goaltenders. Lettinen, throughout his entire career, Lettinen was plagued by injuries earlier on, and now it's just decent play. I don't know. I'm gonna look him up right now.
Yeah, I don't think. And then Niemi was obviously very good for a long time, but in the last 5 years, between 3 and 4 years, he's really gone downhill. It's simply because of age, more than anything else. I think just can't.
Lettinen's had like 3 good seasons in his career.
And that was when he was with.
No, he was with Dallas here. 13-14. He played 65 games, 241, 919. Like, those are pretty good. I don't know. 240. Yeah, 241 is not terrific, but 919 is pretty decent. So.
I would say that goals against is almost more a product of your team than just a goaltender. Yeah. Anyway, so moving back to the draft because we got a little off topic there.
Yes.
So obviously Puljujarvi, massive,
Hmm.
freaking amazing. Probably playing next to McDavid, huge pickup. But Benson, do you think maybe the Oilers should have gone after DeBrincat, or was that the right move to go for Tyler Benson?
You can make an argument for DeBrincat for sure. The Benson thing, it's a risk, but I think it could pay off. He's a local boy, good old Ontario, Alberta boy. Never mind. He's local.
Edmonton boy.
He hopefully has got his injury troubles behind him. He's a good leader too. So I like the pick, but it is a risk. And if you don't think it's a risk, then you're just delusional.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a little undersized. He's bigger than
Yeah,
DeBrincat.
he's like 6 foot, isn't he? He's
He's
listed at 6 foot,
5'11", 185.
5'11". Oh,
Yeah,
that's not bad.
I went off Hockey Writers site, so I don't know how reliable that is, but
Oh.
um, pretty okay numbers. 9, 19, and 28 for
Yeah,
28 points. In 30 game played. That's pretty solid. WHL. Now I'm not sure, or sorry, he played in WHL. I'm not sure why
yeah.
he only played 30 games though.
He was injured,
Okay.
like big time. Yeah, injuries. And DeBrincat scored 50 goals this last season with the Connor McDavid-less Erie Otters.
No,
So
they did have Mitch Marner. Not Mitch Marner.
no, they didn't.
Just Strom, sorry. Mixing
Yeah,
up my small forwards, which I don't think Marner's even that small, so.
yeah, he's like 5'10" for
And it's
like a
Strom. Strom's big boy.
yeah. Strong's like 6'3" or something.
I am not proving my hockey knowledge today very well. Falling over the place. Yeah, I don't know. Like he seems like a player that can obviously produce, but is it maybe one of those cases again, kind of like Pitlick, where can he stay healthy? Like it's
Yeah, no, exactly. You can't teach size.
yeah. Well, tell that to the forward that the fucking Jets drafted. He's 6'7". He's gonna be completely useless. He can't skate.
Johnny Gaudreau, tell that to him too.
Yeah.
All right, so going forward here with the draft picks, there was Marcus Niemelainen, defense, Matthew Cairns, defense, Philip Berglund, defense. All those guys, they're like a minimum of 6'2" or something like that. They're all big
6'2",
boys.
6'3", 6'2". Yep.
Yeah, craziness. And then they drafted Dylan Wells, a goaltender out of, I want to say it was Peterborough.
Yeah, he did not have great stats.
No, he did not. I looked him up yesterday and I was like, what?
I guess the Pats were pretty shit this year, but that's he's not exactly going to be the next Carey Price, I imagine. But
No,
I
I
mean,
don't.
goalies are crapshoot, so why not, right?
Yeah, they're just voodoo for sure. Graham McPhee,
Never heard of this guy.
yeah. And then Rassinen, I know he was on the Finnish World Juniors team.
Played
He
pretty
was,
well with Puljujarvi. He was Puljujarvi's centerman.
yeah, he was quite good at the tournaments. So hopefully that wasn't all product for Puljujarvi, but even if it is, just sticking with Puljujarvi again.
Well, in the Junior A league for the Swedish or Finnish Elite League, he had 38 points, 50 games, and
Yeah,
19 of those was 19-19. So
that's pretty good.
19 goals,
Yeah,
19 assists, in 38 games or sorry, in 50 games is pretty solid.
yeah. So he's
So
6 foot, 183 pounds. So like fill out a little bit, maybe put on 10 pounds. That's decent size. He won't get pushed around.
it's about
I don't
Nugent's
really
size though.
know what type of player is he? Is he like a playmaker or?
You know what? I can't remember his write up. To be honest, I'll pull it up real quick. Let's
He's with
see.
Puljujarvi. I would think he's a playmaker, but
Um, don't have an actual.
centermen are
Uh,
usually playmakers. The snipers are always on the wing.
Depends. I mean, Stamkos is a centerman technically.
Technically,
Yeah,
tech.
he does have some sweet hands though. Watched some of his highlights the other day. By the way, Musil also got a qualifying offer. We forgot to mention him.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe he actually plays NHL hockey this year.
maybe.
Anyway, there's also Vincent Desharnais, which is 6'6", 210. That just seems like a guy that we're getting because he's big, to be honest.
Yeah. He played 19 games last year in the NCAA somewhere, so I don't know. I don't really know what to. Providence College is where he played. That's right. Okay.
Boston boy.
Yeah.
I mean, so do you think it's an issue that Chiarelli drafted primarily right-handed defensemen, despite the fact that we need right-handed defensemen in the system? Like, we have almost none. I don't think we have any. Well,
I
actually,
can't.
what is one of
He's-
Jones? I think Pagan's right-handed, is he?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. So all these guys are left-handed or right-handed?
Most of them are left-handed. Going through the defensemen, Niemelainen is left-handed.
Yeah.
Cairns
Niemelainen
is left-handed. Berglund is right-handed, and he's apparently
Darren is right-handed too. So
Berglund is apparently a pretty good defenseman.
yeah.
It seems like that was kind of a steal to pick there. But yeah, so is it at this point is just something that we're drafting for depth, or is it becoming kind of an issue that we need to evaluate better?
Probably. It's probably both. I don't know. I feel like they obviously they need help at the blue line, so you take every blue liner that you think is going to be good. I don't know. I would probably have drafted Rassinen ahead of Dylan Wells, the goaltender, but there you go. When you're drafting, 4th overall, we came in 29th. There's holes everywhere, like I said before with Columbus. The team has holes everywhere. The blue line thing has been beaten to death, but the bottom 6 for the Oilers is a joke, and the top 6 is questionable as well.
The bottom 6 is just... I mean, the third line isn't that bad if you have, like, Pakarinen and, maybe Yakupov on there, but it's just not... it doesn't pack a punch. The fourth line is like a grinder type, but as long as Korpikoski's on there, to me, he's just... I can't deal with him. I don't want to watch another year of him, but
they'll probably keep him so that he can ease Puljujarvi into the team.
Yeah, but we have Pakarinen, and he's an actually useful player.
Yeah, that's true as well. Do we have any Finnish defensemen? I don't think we do.
We drafted another one, and the draft, I think one of them was a defenseman, no? Niemelainen is a defenseman. He's Finnish.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing him beyond training camp, though.
Oh, on the team, no. You know what the nice thing about drafting Puljujarvi, and I believe, actually, who's the other guy? Niemelainen, and not Niemelainen, sorry, Rassinen.
Mm-hmm.
They both played in the Elite League, so they can either go back there or they can go to the AHL. They don't have to play junior. So
thank God.
Play actually, competitive hockey.
Yeah. I can't imagine Puljujarvi playing. I wonder who holds his rights.
Probably whatever team he was playing for in the Elite League, which is...
No, I mean, like, which junior team holds his rights?
Would a team hold his rights?
If he got drafted into the import draft.
True.
I don't know if he actually did.
I have no idea. So I'm just checking the guys, the three defensemen we drafted last year. The only one that shoots right out of Pagan, Jones, and Bear is Bear.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bear, he's good though. He had a really good year.
He's a smaller guy, but he put up 65 points in 69 games with the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And Caleb Jones wasn't exactly shy himself, and an interesting prospect. So those guys are coming along. I don't know. It's just Are we? Did the media make too big of a deal of the right-hand left-hand debate? Like, is it really that big of a deal? Because
I think on things like the power play, it is definitely a big deal, but on 5-on-5 play, much less so, I would say.
So is it almost imperative that we pick up a right-handed, even number two, like a second pairing defenseman this offseason? Just
I would.
Yeah. Out?
I mean, you can't Oh my God! I gotta think about who the Oilers even have on their roster now. Hang on.
You could pick up Cam Fowler, I guess. If we're going for a second pairing defenseman, then we just need a right-hander. The problem is, is the price going to be premium for those guys?
Probably.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to pay that at that point, right?
Yeah. See, it's like looking down the list here. It's like Clendenning wasn't qualified. Davidson, he's still like a 4 or 5 kind of guy. Like
yeah, he's
Fane,
maybe good enough to be a top 4, but we don't know yet.
yeah, Fane, same
Was
idea.
our top right defenseman this year, which is
And he's like a 4, maybe a 3 on a good day.
yeah.
Lawrence is retired. Greiba, I just want him off the team.
Really? He wasn't that bad this year.
Klefbom, he's like a number 3, maybe a number 2.
He's actually, I mean, his underlying stats indicate he's borderline number 1 right now.
Nikitin, gone. Party,
Fuck.
garbage. Sakara, number 2. Yeah, you're right. Klefbom, like he's probably a number 2. Sakara, number 2. Yeah.
Just, I don't know. It's not looking good. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the draft, and I enjoyed that we got Puljujarvi, and I'm glad that the players Shirley drafted seem to be players that could have a positive impact in the future. But where our defense core is right now, and the fact that we didn't trade for anybody it's worrying to me. And I don't know if that's maybe my pessimistic nature, having watched the Oilers fail miserably for like a decade. But it just seems like we're placing ourselves in yet another bad position to either overpay on a defenseman who's not going to make an impact, or overpay on a defenseman that will underplay, or not overpay on a defenseman because we don't trade for anybody. Then we go into defense with that.
And
really
we do the dance over again.
I want to stop being in the lottery. You
want to stop being sad?
Not even sad. I'd rather be sad because we don't make the playoffs but come close than being sad the fact that we're yet again trying to win the top pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to have to be in March or April or May, March or February, looking at the top picks and seeing how they're doing because it's just tiresome.
Apparently, some Nolan Patrick kid from the Brandon Wheat Kings. This is your number 1 guy for 2017. And he's a small forward.
Start scouting early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what else have we got here? How many more tubs?
I guess there was the thing with RNH going for possibly Brodin or Dumba, which just sounds stupid.
No.
I have a feeling she really didn't want to pay for it, and that's why he didn't.
Hard to know. I don't know what else to say there. Like, if you traded for both of them somehow, then, that's your second pairing, but no thanks, man. I don't want either of them individually, especially not for Nuge.
Now, last question, because I think we're running out of topics, and it's kind of hard with 2 people. If you have a choice of trading Nugent-Hopkins or Eberle, I know we've discussed this more times than I can count at this point, but it's changed a little bit with Puljujarvi, I think. Do you trade Nugent-Hopkins because he now holds more value? Because Eberle, in theory, we have a replacement. So
I still don't trade Nuge.
No?
I've gone back and forth on this a lot myself. My opinion could change next week, but as it stands right now, I mean, keep Nuge to center depth is something that we screamed for years. Now we finally have it in theory. And Puljujarvi plays right wing. Eberle plays right wing. You trade Eberle for a defenseman. I mean, it almost sounds too easy because, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would be a GM if it was easy.
Yeah, we would have done it already.
That's the obvious route, That's the obvious route. That's just what makes sense.
And is it kind of like, if you think about it, would you not want to trade a player that has more value that in theory could be replaced by Draisaitl?
I feel like Eberle has good value. He scores, minimum of
not good value,
50 a year.
Better value. Because centermen typically valued at higher prices.
Yeah. Yeah, typically. I mean, I see where you're coming from, and the position does, pay a premium there. It all depends on what sort of offers we get. But all things being equal, like right now, I would trade Eberle.
I think I would too, but again, it's coming to the situation: who the hell do we trade him for? And I wouldn't trade him for Kemp Fowler. I wouldn't trade him for friggin'
I know. He's like a 25 goal scorer. You know, if maybe a bit of a stretch, but maybe a 30 goal scorer again. Who knows? You know, like he's good for 25 anyway.
And he's also the most consistent player on our team as far as point production goes.
Exactly. So
I don't know. It's one of those weird things. Would you consider bringing Sam Gagner back? He's a UFA this year. So say we trade Nugent-Hopkins or Draisaitl, then we have 1-2 of McDavid and Nuge, or McDavid and Draisaitl. Do you bring in Gagner to either be an extra 2C or a 3C?
no, I don't think so. It never worked with Gagner in the past. I just don't feel like we need to revisit that road. I spent a lot of years being very frustrated with Gagner, long stretches, and then being very happy with him for short stretches. He was quite good in the lockout shortened season, but other than that, like he was pretty infuriating. I just don't really want to go back to that.
Do you go after one Teddy Purcell?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I can't. I'm not down with recycling players. Like individually, these guys are good, but the team was going nowhere with them. You know, like I'm not interested in recycling players, and I'm not interested in. It's the same sort of mindset that paralyzes people from trading one of Hull, Nuge, or Eberle. Like, yes, they are fantastic players, but the team's in 29th spot, and we just don't need to go and revisit this again. So
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, it's been discussed to death. It really has. Now, final question: are you going to be buying tickets to the opening game?
I'll be trying. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the?
Yeah, I will.
The outdoor game.
I was initially very down for that because I have family in Winnipeg, but I saw the prices and it's just not really feasible. Even the cheapest tickets there are like $250, so can't do it. I would have to fly to Winnipeg, spend $500 on tickets, and
mind you, those might also be the minimal amount you'll pay for tickets at the home opener.
Yeah, it depends. You know, I $250 I'm more willing to spend for this game because it's local. Like I don't have to pay for a flight or anything like that. I don't have to go and eat out every meal for 3 days in a row. So I don't know. It's just more feasible for Rogers Place, and you know, I live in the area of Rogers Place too, so it's really more convenient to go to Rogers than it is to go to Rexall.
True.
So,
all right, so I think we've covered just about everything we could to an extent. At this point, you know, we called it a draft review, but we can't really review too much of the draft. We can say we like the picks, but it takes 2 or 3 years. I almost think that we should take an episode over the off season and look back on each draft year and where the players are, and maybe shorter bits. I know we're looking into something like that, but we'll probably go more into depth than that in the future. At any rate, hopefully some people were able to tune in. Hopefully they'll watch it later, and hopefully we'll see you in the future. I'm Adam, otherwise known as Sweet44722.
And I'm James Paul McCartney. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And we'll see you guys next time.